I belong to the Ngwa Cultural Organization of New York, it's called. We have a parent body we call a NAOSA in short form. It's Ngwa National Association of USA. But the NCO, otherwise called Ngwa Cultural Organization in New York, takes care of the Ngwa people in New York and the environs. And this is like a socio-cultural organization which embodies Ngwa people and some from Ngwa area. There are so many things that can take you away from your culture, your tradition, and where you're coming from. For example, many people that don't belong to this organization, you see, you don't know where they are, you don't know how to track them down. So this organization, people that belong to it, they do our cultural things, they promote our cultural things, all the ethics, because you can easily lose your ethics here.
Amala Lienu, Amala Zonu, Ojibofo, La Langwa, Gio to Akape, Oji, Oni Garule, Adike, Ojode, Napatae. NCO enyena nyoji so manyi kwaroku manyi baru zo abalo ya
namo si magola mbaru anya buna karaka haji fuwe dasamo dasamo haji fuwe dasamo etemayo lolo etemayo
Initially, when NCO was formed, it was for the purpose of making sure that any member that dies will be sent back to Nigeria. So this was formed in the early 70s. His first president was Professor Autism, who is still with us today. This is a very enviable organization, and it has encouraged us to stick together and do our things and make sure that anybody that is a member is recognized.
From the producers of your favorite TV show, Echoes from the Valley, comes Created Unique, a conference on raising a child on the autism spectrum disorder.
Gotten information of parents hiding their children, and they hide these children because they are embarrassed, they are ashamed to show people that their children are on the spectrum.
Our oldest son is also on the autism spectrum. So we got a diagnosis for him when he was 3 years old. But I kind of always probably suspected from the time he was a baby. He was just slow to meet all of his milestones.
It cuts across race, belief, education, economic and social status. Anyone can have a child with autism spectrum disorder.
So at the beginning, we weren't really quite sure what to call it, like, because the audiologists were like saying, no, she's not on the spectrum. The pediatrician was also like, no, she's not on the spectrum. But then eventually the speech therapist was the one that really like hit the nail on the head and said that she's on the spectrum.
How informed are you about it?
We don't talk about it like, okay, we're trying to find a fault with anybody. I mean, that is overwhelming. How you deal with trauma is totally different from maybe how I would deal with trauma.
Join ECHO's Africa initiatives and stakeholders from across the globe as they gather to share information. Date: April 26th to the 29th, 2023. Venue: Baymont by Wyndham Hotels, Elmsford, New York, USA. For more details, visit our website or call the numbers on your screen.
No child should be left behind. None. If you have 10 children and one of them has a disability, never leave that child behind.
ECHO's Africa initiatives, bridging the gap.
The NCO Cultural Night is what we try to organize, to refresh ourselves about the things, the culture of our people. And this kind of things, or should I say, this type of activities where we exhibit some of the things that are found in our culture. For example, the presentation of kola nut, which is very important in our society. Because if you come to an Ngwa man's house and he did not present any kola nut, then he didn't welcome you. And there are rules to the presentation, as you can see from our activities during this cultural night. Also, the Mbede dance. The Mbede dance is usually a median dance, which is used to prepare the young girls for marriage. These things are very interesting, and some of the kids that were born here in the good old USA do not know all these things unless they are explained to them. That is why we want to do these things so that those young folks will know part of our culture. Like I mentioned earlier, see, there are things we have in our culture which the people here ignore so much. And those things like, these are the do's, these are the don'ts, how to respect the elders, how to comport yourself in the society, how to be a good citizen. These are seriously inculcated in our culture, and we want our children to know those things, not behaving as if they are white. And that's the kind of thing we find here. So those are some of the reasons why we organize the Ngwa Cultural Night.
Echoes from the Valley. African story like you've never seen it.
So many of these folks, they see Africa as just one country.
And the woman came to me and she goes, so what color is the flag? I said, what flag? said the flag of Africa. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, do I now educate this woman or do I just tell her and move on?
Recorded in locations across Africa and diaspora, it is Africa from African perspective.
As governments, as individuals, we have got to tell our stories.
What is your African story? What is your origin and history? What makes your culture and tradition unique? What are your milestones? Echoes from the Valley. For participation, please call the numbers on your screen. Echoes from the Valley, telling the African story.
NCO women was splendid in purple and yellow. Because I never thought I walk on my wine.
And you can see the children, how they love those things, and how they enjoy, because some of them have been observing these things even from when they were children, when they were sucklings, you know. Their mother will come. If you had noticed, you see some mother came with their little babies, you know. So when they keep exposing them to some of these things, they are interested in coming anytime. And if you look at the attires, you see the young children putting on, you know, the traditional attire. They are very happy about it. They do some of these things to keep our younger ones, you know, in touch with what we believe, you know, our belief systems, you know, and encourage them both educationally and otherwise. And there's been a very tremendous help for our people. This is our sister, Ivana Moses. That's the daughter of our own Stainless and the trustee Ibe Wampa. She was with Google and she chose NCO as her own charity. We are very grateful that she did that, and because of that we want to honor it. Will you give her a round of applause? So let me give the secretary to read what is there. Thank you.
Ngwa Cultural Organization of North America Service Award presented to Mrs. Ivana Moses Bonds for choosing NCO New York as the recipient of your benefit charity allocation, and is presented by the NCO President, Chief Mbono Ongmelu, and the Secretary, Mr. Ugochukwu, today, October 2022, in Bronx, New York, USA. Put your hands together for our sister. Can we now invite the parents? Please, parents, join us in the picture.
I just want to say thank you, everyone, for this award. NCO was the first organization that I thought of when I was looking to donate. because it means something special to me. And so I'm thankful that I have you all as a family. And as I grew up in New York, I had you guys all around me. And I'm just so thankful to have you. So thank you again for this award. And continue to progress our culture and keep it alive. Thank you.
Echoes from the Valley. African story like you've never seen it.
To many of these folks, they see Africa as just one country.
And the woman came to me and she goes, so what color is the flag? I said, what flag? She said, the flag of Africa. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, do I now educate this woman or do I just tell her and move on?
Recorded in locations across Africa and diaspora, it is Africa from African perspective.
As governments, as individuals, we have got to tell our stories.
What is your African story? What is your origin and history? What makes your culture and tradition unique? What are your milestones? Echoes from the Valley. For participation, please call the numbers on your screen. Echoes from the Valley, telling the African story.
The program of activities, like I also hinted a little bit, are those things that will bring us home, especially those that have lived in our ancestral home. It gives us some, nostalgic feelings because it tends to bring us to remember, those things we've been doing. So the usual program of activities, we center on those things that make us a people, the Ngwa nation. Like things that will tell you, these are the norms. These are, the culture. This is the tradition. This is what you are expected to do. After, performing all these things, people will understand that they are from a unique set of people. And no wonder our children are excelling in every aspect of human endeavor as far as this our host country, the good old USA, is concerned.
inviting me. Dr. Orji has a great impact in my life. He was the first person who taught me how to eat kola and bitter nut. And I'm so grateful. Just today I learned Dr. Orji. Orji means kola nut. How clever. After 5-6 years of friendship, I finally get to know this. I'm so thankful to be here. Thank you so much.
Money no they come from heaven, to better the money go come. Now true one and they tell you so. Orinando, Ugo Chukwago, Tana money oh, Tana money, Tana money oh, Tana money. No waka waka, no look look. No boning, no frowning. Do better thing. Money no they come from heaven. Do better thing, money go come. And true one that they tell you so. Orinando, Uguneri, shake him up, shake him up, shake him up. Ole him le kota kwano Ngwa kage Viviana wa. Onamia.
Our people used to say that Eto Nyeko Meri, our dear sister, Dr. Mrs. Amarachi Riak. During the COVID, you guys know we've not been gathering, you know. During the COVID, she played a very vital role to the whole of our community. Not just on the Ngwa community, the whole community within this bronze, to make sure we know where to take the vaccine when it's available, and so many things. She told us so many things about both the reaction and whatever. So we are very happy, and thank you, Doctor. Now, we want to honor you.
Echoes from the Valley. African story like you've never seen it.
So many of these folks, they see Africa as just one country.
And the woman came to me and she goes, so what color is the flag? I said, what flag? She said, the flag of Africa. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, do I now educate this woman, or do I just tell her and move on?
Recorded in locations across Africa and diaspora, it is Africa from African perspective.
As governments, as individuals, we have got to tell our stories.
What is your African story? What is your origin and history? What makes your culture and tradition unique? What are your milestones? Echoes from the Valley. For participation, please call the numbers on your screen. Echoes from the Valley, telling the African story.
No come out of Mazino. Now, no. To Manyanka. Hemre, me to receive this. And I believe that I believe in helping others. And if I'm in the position to do that, I will always do that, regardless of this. All right, and I'm encouraging others to also do likewise. Anytime you have to help your community, please do likewise. Thank you so much.
Echoes from the Valley. African story like you've never seen it.
So many of these folks, they see Africa as just one country.
And the woman came to me and she goes, so what color is the flag? I said, what flag? She said, the flag of Africa. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, do I now educate this woman or do I just tell her and move on?
Recorded in locations across Africa and diaspora, it is Africa from African perspective.
As governments, as individuals, we have got to tell our stories.
What is your African story? What is your origin and history? What makes your culture and tradition unique? What are your milestones? Echoes from the Valley. For participation, please call the numbers on your screen. Echoes from the Valley, telling the African story.